So we've hit on classroom advice, give you some basic workplace advice, just basic stuff, nothing crazy, not based on, recent events of any kind. Now let's talk about some lifestyle advice. Because if you haven't figured out, being in public service, you don't have a normal life. You're not going to have a normal life. And that's okay. But there's some simple stuff to be done that can help mitigate a lot of that. It may sound corny. It may sound like, okay. But trust me, it matters. Trust me, boy. Trust me. Anyway, I don't even remember what that's a quote from a movie. I can't even remember what movie it is. But anyway, first piece of advice: create boundaries between work and life, and not just what smell good products you use or what music you listen to. Because yes, that can be useful. But when you clock out, go the fuck home. Just go the fuck home. Only be an EMT or a paramedic or whatever when you're on the clock. Once you're not in school, don't let it consume your life. You need to have some boundaries. You need to have boundaries with the people you work with. You need to have boundaries with your bosses. You need to have boundaries with, I don't know, it's like EMS is its own thing. It's like it's this thing you have a relationship with. It's very nebulous, and it taps into every aspect of your life in a really weird fucking way. And you really need to be aware of it and manage it preventatively if you're going to last.
So I was talking to somebody, I don't know, it was several weeks ago. I don't even remember who it was. But I see, oh, I remember who it was. I see him at
I'm
work
not going
on,
to tell you, but we remember who it was.
sorry, logically, I was trying to remember. But I literally see him at work all the time. Like, I swear to God, I don't think there's been a single day in the past, like, 3 weeks that I haven't seen him. And I was just like, dude, why are you here? And he said to me not that long ago, he was like, well, I had the day off. Normally I'm, only work, X amount of, extra time, overtime, what the fuck ever. He's like, but I had the day off. And I was like, well, I don't have my kids and I have nothing to do. So instead of finding something to do, I just said, fuck it, I'll come to work. And I was just like, but you don't sleep. And like, that's it. I don't want to get too much into it because it's going to be our next point kind of cumulatively.
Mhm.
But like, you need to have stuff outside of work. Like, just because you don't have anything planned for the day, don't plan to go to work. Like, I understand. Listen, EMS is always going to need fucking help. Public service is always going to need help. There is always going to be a critically open shift. There is always going to be a call out. That's why services need to be working on not just retention, but also overhauling their part-time pool. Because I'm sorry, if you're not meeting your part-time hours, fuck you, get off the roster so they can actually hire other people that will come in and actually work. But keeping up with the part-time roster, that is the whole point of it. And sure, maybe pick up a critical shift here and there, but if you've already picked up, 2 overtime shifts that week, you have to have some fucking boundaries. Dana was actually, he took me to Walmart the other day. He's like, you need some shirts. I was like, but no, I don't. I have shirts. I have shirts that fit. He's like, but all of them say like some kind of service or something that you have worked for, at some point in your life. I was like, well, but I'm not wearing tack pants. It's just it's a t-shirt. We're gonna go run errands and go home. And he's like, but it's a fucking EMS t-shirt. So don't get me wrong. He's not abusive. He's not demanding or anything. He checks me
You're a
sometimes
little
as
stubborn
needed.
sometimes.
Yes, I'm very stubborn, and he just checks me sometimes.
Hmm.
But like, I know it sounds cheesy, but literally even your clothes. I was having coffee with a friend this morning and ran into somebody that I worked with for fucking ever ago. And we're talking like, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and she was still in uniform with her family. And I'm like, ew, why are you still in boots? She's like, oh, I
Hmm.
just never changed. I'm like, ugh. Like, don't go shopping in full uniform. I know I wear my t-shirts, leave me
I
alone.
don't even wear my boots when I'm not on a call.
Oh
Like
God,
as soon as I get
I don't
back to
want
the
to wear those
station,
fucking things. I take them bitches off.
well, no, don't get me wrong. I have nice boots, but like
Hmm.
when I get to the station, first thing I do, kick them off and put on my like slip-on shoes.
Hmm.
I like my loafers. I'm
Yeah.
sorry if I could wear them all day. Well, I don't do it anymore. But there was a pair of black Skechers slip-ons that I literally used to just wear on every call.
Well,
Like,
yeah, but that was at 911.
oh yeah, I did. Oh yeah, I did. You know what? I didn't give a fuck. I ran like 2 calls a shift anyway. I was like, it's fine. It's
Oh my
fine.
God.
But
White fucking
anyway.
white cloud. God, the amount of blood that I get on my boots, I would.
Well, and at that particular time, my station assignment was in house with an ambulance that 99% of the time was an ALS truck. So it's like, eh, eh.
fair, but I fall back on. I get so much blood on my. I get blood on my boots all the time. But having that boundary is so important, which kind of brings us to the second point. You gotta have fucking habits. Hobbies. Yes, habits.
The verbal strokes are
listen,
back.
I had to verbal stroke at some point, or it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, had to have a little nostalgia. Yeah. But yes, have fucking hobbies. And this connects with coping mechanisms, which if you're aware of mental health at all, you realize that most first responders have very atrocious coping habits and coping mechanisms. But having hobbies, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's collecting random. I saw one guy that wasn't public service, but is his most random hobby. The guy collects flutes from different parts of the world. The most obscure hobby on the planet. But guess what?
Does he play them?
I think so.
Oh, well, at least he plays them. At least it's not something he's collecting. Like, at least you're not collecting dildos that you don't use and you just put them on your wall. Oh my God, I had a patient that we walked in and there was like a wall of fucking dildos. I hate people.
Wow. Another dick in Hadrian's Wall. Okay, that was good. Come on. But, or like in my situation, yes, I am a music nerd. And
that's an understatement.
Yeah. I have no delusions about being, some, fantastic songwriter or what the fuck ever. But I enjoy writing music. I enjoy that way of expressing myself, and it just so happens that there's AI services out there that you literally feed it the lyrics and then, a prompt for what you want the music to sound like, and boom, it creates fucking music for you. And I have been using the shit out of that the last 2 years. And it's a form of therapy for me, but it's something that is my little hobby. I will literally spend hours tweaking shit because it's fulfilling to me. It's interesting. It gets me out of EMS. It gets me out of my own head sometimes. And I love it. I love that. I love going to the gym. I do shit with the kids. Like, I play Minecraft with them sometimes. I just have little things to do that aren't in any way, shape, or form related to EMS.
I mean, honestly, or even medicine.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I love talking medicine, not even necessarily calls, but like, I don't come home and immediately like open a journal, a cardiology journal. I'm like, oh my God, the EKGs.
Tell me you have no friends without telling me you have no friends. What?
Mean.
No. I was saying the people that do come and do the journals. Love you, EMS Avenger. Just saying, like, for most of the rest of us normal people, like, we don't do that.
He's an education connoisseur.
Well, he's a brainiac, and that's great. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. We need more people like him.
Yes.
But the average Joe doesn't do that normally.
Yeah.
No shade on Jimmy. We love him.
No,
he's good. He's good people.
Oh, absolutely.
The third thing, and this kind of ties into everything we've talked about throughout this entire episode, is having healthy friendships outside of EMS.
Well, because something that we often see, and I've already mentioned it, is if your only friends are in EMS, when you hang out, you're probably going to drink. And
yeah,
don't get us wrong, we're not hating. I mean, we have something occasionally, like this is not a straight dry household, but more than likely there's going to be drinking. And what is the conversation to be around? Bitching about coworkers, talking about drama. You're going to be talking about calls that you're
so exhausting.
Literally your entire. Now, don't get us wrong. There are some of our closest friends that have at least a history in EMS. A friend, our daughter actually made like a best friend this year who is new to the school. So like she's brand new. And we've gotten to know her parents, and her mother actually used to be paramedic like years and years and years ago, decided to go to medical school, decided that was not for her and her family life, and then went and became an engineer. Like, tell me that you're fucking brilliant without telling me you're brilliant. And like, we have had a really hard time connecting the past few weeks, and we finally were able to go get, well, she had breakfast. I had already eaten, but we went and got coffee this morning. And I think we had like a 4-hour coffee date.
At least. I was asleep for part of it.
Yeah, we had like a 4-hour coffee date. And don't get me wrong, like there were times that, work or, a call or something came up, But literally of those 4 hours, it was maybe like mentioning stuff like a total of like 10 minutes. It was probably 1% of the conversation. And don't get me wrong, it was cool as shit that I was able to tell her about something that had happened at work related to this past week that was like a real big fucking deal. And she logically understood it because she had the experience with medicine. However, she is not actively in EMS. Daniel and I have other ventures outside of EMS besides being parents, and being able to talk about stuff that wasn't work related and being in that like constant mindset, so fucking cool. Like it having the medical background makes it a little bit more fluid when you mention something with work. But so oftentimes where we've hung out with our EMS friends, like we had a Friendsgiving, I don't know, 3 years ago, and it was like 90% EMS people. And it was great and stuff while we were eating. But as soon as everybody sat down around the campfire to start like doing marshmallows, and I think some of us were drinking and everything, what did it revert back to? Talking about calls. And there's a time and a place for that, which is fine. But if your literal entire life is all about work, your brain is constantly turned on.
Mm.
You were constantly talking about the drama. There is always going to be something to bitch about because what do we complain about? Lack of food, lack of eating, lack of money, the stress, the bullshit, all the things. And it just keeps you in this negative mindset. And like we've talked about, you have to have the hobbies and the people outside of it. Now, it could be people that you do genuinely have friendships with on shift, but y'all have to have hobbies and do things like have game nights that have nothing to do with EMS.
I'm probably going to step on some toes or hurt some feelings when I say this, but if you want to get anywhere in life, if you want to level up your experience in life and do other things, you will never do that if your only friend base is people who are actively in EMS.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen because, like she just described, we have a lot of habits that we fall into very easily when we are together. Now, that's not saying that, oh, if you have any friends that are in EMS, you're doomed. No, 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 no. We have wonderful friends in EMS.
Mm-hmm.
They are not the only people. Well, one, we've curated that list very carefully
Mm-hmm.
so that it's not just coworkers, but it's people whose values align with our values in life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say it's an echo chamber. Just we spend time around people who better us, who it's a mutually beneficial relationship in a healthy way. But we also have friends outside of EMS, and we invest in other friendships outside of EMS because if you don't, it will drag you down. I can honestly look every single person that I know in EMS who is depressed, frustrated, feels stuck in their career, feels like they're not going anywhere. They're in an echo chamber or they're just isolated, period.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't put themselves outside of that comfort zone. There's a wonderful quote. I know we've said it before, but it's always worth repeating. Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future.
Mm-hmm.
The people you are spending the most time with are the ones who have the most dramatic effect on where you go in life. So be picky about who those people are.
Well,
Curate that list very well.
Well, and another quote that we actively share is you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time around. I mean, it goes any direction. And the people that are the most stuck, look at what they do on their off time. They either do nothing, they eat junk food, they sit and watch TV, and then they turn around and go back to work. They have really poor home lives. Some of the happiest people have healthy home lives, even if they work all the time. Us right now, I'm working 2 full-time jobs. Daniel is working full-time. He is helping me sometimes on his days off. But you know what? When we're home, like obviously we have the podcast, but like we went to the grocery store today and we were talking about like philosophical shit. You have to talk about, you have to read, you have to consume, I almost said media, but I mean, podcasts. You have to have hobbies that are not related to it. Like you can make it work. You can work all the fucking time. It's what you do with your off time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually interesting. If you're familiar with the show The Big Bang Theory, the actress that plays Amy Farrah Fowler, Miriam, oh, what is her last name?
Bialik or something. It's something weird.
Something like that. But Miriam, who plays Amy Farrah Fowler, she was actually, if you don't know, she is a real life neuroscience scientist. There's a verbal stroke again. And she was actually on a podcast recently, and no, I am not going to get into the addiction mindset with you because fuck all of y'all. We're not doing it. But she was on a podcast recently. Because so many people have an opinion that addiction is a choice, that it's a mindset, that it's biological, that it's this, that I'm not getting into that argument. I'm just saying, from a neuroscientist, she brought up an interesting point that I had never even considered before. And if you think about what EMS is as a whole, it kind of makes sense. She said that addiction is an allergy. Hold up. Not anaphylactic. But if you start thinking about all the coping mechanisms or things that people get addicted to, what is it for? It is to literally help us get through life. Why do people drink? It is a coping mechanism, or it is something that helps them get through life because they are so unhappy with their circumstance. Caffeine is actually one that she literally.
Hey. I'm kidding.
But seriously, though, think about public service.
Oh, I know.
It is a literal addiction to help us get through the day, whether it's a buzz, whether it's to wake us up because we are sleep deprived. It is what she would consider allergy-like behavior to living. Literally, it is an allergy to living that we need a better coping mechanism to help us make it through life. Same with a dopamine addiction. It has to do with dopamine as well. And when we have friends and drama and we get, the high from talking about calls and having oh shit calls, well, what do? Even if we're exhausted, we're going to want to do it more. Literally, it's like EMS is an addiction that helps us get through life. We have a really fucking shitty home life. So we go to work. That way on our downtime, we can do whatever the fuck we want without having that bitch look at me from home. Or dealing with them damn kids that you never wanted to have, or whatever the fuck your circumstance is. And then when somebody calls you for their life falling apart, whether it's bullshit or oh shit, we can do something about it, feel like we're making a difference, even if you're fucking frustrated with the frequent flyers, you're doing something. And if you're frustrated, what do a lot of the shitbags that are unhappy with their life do? They chew ass on the frequent flyer. Don't get me wrong, I have had my fair share of telling a patient not to talk to me disrespectfully. Point being, what is it? EMS is an addiction for a lot of people. And what do a lot of people that have an addiction, when they're told that they're addicted and they need to make space or, make an adjustment in their coping mechanisms, they get defensive. They dig in their heels harder. We are allergic to life in theory. What is a common thing that a lot of us in public service have? A lot of us have a traumatic background. I guarantee if you start asking people and everybody starts sharing, like everybody in the current EMT class that we have, everybody has a traumatic fucking past. And it's not about comparing, but like it is just a common thread. We are addicted to our own miserable lives. Daniel and I are happy. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me fucking wrong.
It's the royal we, not the actual we.
Literally. There you go. I'm not saying that this is the end all be all, like this is exactly what addiction is, brain chemistry and all that kind of stuff. I definitely don't disagree that it's necessarily a habit, but I thought it was an interesting viewpoint that a literal neuroscientist had, that is an addiction to dealing with life because they are allergic to their life in some form or fashion. And it is a literal coping mechanism. So if you are continuing to, what are addicts often told? They are often told that in order to stick with their recovery, to not live and hang out with other addicts. Because if one slips, we all slip. Well, what happens if the only people, please have friends with other people in EMS. We have friends with people in EMS. But if those are the only people that you're around, what are you going to do? You're going to slip back into the same mindset and the same misery and picking up overtime. And let's say that my best friend works in EMS and Daniel and I had a date tomorrow. And this best friend was like, oh my God, they're so short. Let's go make money. Let's go have a party on the truck. Like, we'll make it the best day ever. And I'm like, hey, Daniel, tomorrow's a critical shift. Like, let's reschedule date night. And that is like a really easy way. You wouldn't catch me dead doing that. I feel you looking at me.
Yeah, that would. I mean, I know your response to that person would be, fuck no.
Literally. I catch you on the next one.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
That
probably not.
probably not. But that is a really easy thing that we slide into. Like you have to make intentional time for hobbies and friends outside of EMS. Even if your friends are in EMS, go do something non-EMS-y. Go up into the mountains where you have no cell phone service so they can't call you for an overtime shift. Like that works too.
Hmm.
I don't know. That was a whole like tangent. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I've been awake basically since 2:30 this morning, so I'm hitting the wall. So
It's
I
okay.
think we're
I'll
good.
beat them later.
Well, on that note, if you learned something, good.
Good.
Share it with your friends. If you were offended, good.
Even better.
You probably should be. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow us on YouTube at Paramedic AF, or you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify at the Paramedic AF Show. You can catch up on the Daily Debrief, kind of a sub-show within the Paramedic AF Show, or you can watch our full-length episodes, including interviews and discussions on leadership, culture, personal wellness, mental health, everything related to daily life in EMS. Make sure you hit like and subscribe.